right, guys, welcome back to another video. So Summer Games Fest has come and gone, and we saw a new trailer for Black Myth Wukong. And one of the things that was very odd about that trailer was at the end, they had the platforms that the game was coming out for, and Xbox wasn't included on that list of platforms. I had people asking if the game was still coming out for Xbox, because previous to this year, they had already announced it for the Xbox itself. And then after the showcase and after the trailer had come out, Black Myth Wukong, the developers behind it, Game Science, said that it was because they were optimizing the game and they had to delay the Xbox version, not specifically saying it was because of the Xbox Series S or anything, but basically they just want to optimize the game and put it out in a good way. In fact, their exact quote from what they originally said about Black Myth Wukong was this: "We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series X and S version to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with the other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards." And that leaves it very, very much open-ended as to when this game is actually going to be released for Xbox. Like, could it be a year later? Could it be a year and a half? Could it be a month, 3 months? Like, we don't know when it does officially come out for the PC and the PlayStation 5 on August 20th, 2024. But we have an interesting new development in this. If you sort of read in between the lines, I mean, it doesn't really give us the actual full answer, the legit answer as to what is happening here. You would think Xbox would easily be able to tell us what has happened if it was just optimization, but Jez Corden and Windows Central, they actually reached out for an answer on this from Game Science and from Microsoft, and Microsoft actually responded with why this game is being delayed for Xbox. In fact, here's what it says: "As I asked both Microsoft and Game Science to comment on the optimization issues, seeking some clarity. Was the Xbox Series S to blame? Game Science didn't respond, but this morning a Microsoft spokesperson offered the below statement." And asking if the Series S was to blame is a legitimate question, especially after we have seen what happened with Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, we know with Baldur's Gate 3, the Xbox Series S and the co-op and it having not as much resources as the X and the PlayStation 5 to get that running in a good way was the reason why that game did get delayed. They came out there very transparent with it. They weren't just saying optimization issues. But here is what Xbox's response is. They say, "We're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on the Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are the center of that." So obviously they don't specifically say what the reason is, but you would think basically the question that was posed to them was, are these issues optimizations issues? Are they the Series S? Or I don't know the exact question that was written, but it had to do with optimization. And I'm guessing was hinting at, is it because of the Xbox Series S? And they just totally ignore that. They don't say anything about that. And you would think, well, they've already done this with Baldur's Gate 3. There's already, I guess, that expectation that if there are optimization issues, it's because the Series S just needs a little bit more time, especially with a smaller developer here in Game Science, or a more indie developer, not a big AAA developer that we know here in the West. Maybe their resources aren't as much. Maybe they just aren't as good at optimizing as some bigger companies out there. So it would make sense that they would need more time for the Xbox Series S version, but they completely ignore that. They do not say anything. And they say that they can't comment on deals made by our partners with other platform holders, which, reading in between the lines, sounds to me that they are kind of hinting at here that there was some sort of deal here with PlayStation and Game Science to bring back Black Myth Wukong exclusively, console exclusively at least, for an extended period of time, and Xbox not getting it. Now, again, it doesn't confirm anything, but you could definitely take that and come to that sort of conclusion by reading into that statement there. And you have people who say that isn't the case, and that makes absolutely no sense that they would do that, and all these other things. But I mean, PlayStation absolutely does have a history of making these deals behind the scenes just to keep games off of other platforms for a period of time, so that it will push gamers to think about PlayStation first. Now, how many people are going to go out and buy a PlayStation 5 just to play this on day one? if they have an Xbox. I probably would say not that many. I think it's not going to be a huge console seller or anything like that. But it's just an interesting thing to dive into, as we are now in a time where both of these platforms are more multi-platform, and you have the argument now that if PlayStation is still going to be doing deals like this, or still going to be doing these behind the scenes, you could say these shady or slimy little things to keep things off of the Xbox platform, just so people can't play a game for an extended period, whether, like I said, that's a month or a year or whatever. Should Xbox be jumping in and doing a lot more of this, and should they not be as giving with all of the content that they have? That's definitely a question and a discussion that gets brought up when things like this do happen. And if we go down here into the article, it asks, exclusivity deal or Xbox Series S issues. And it says, I became aware of whispers and rumors while out in LA for the Xbox Showcase 2024 that despite the optimization assertions, Game Science had actually taken some form of exclusivity deal with PlayStation for Black Myth Wukong. Reading between the lines, Microsoft does seem to suggest that some form of third-party exclusivity deal may be in play, although it stops short of explicitly stating as such. And again, you get to come to your own conclusion by reading that statement, but it does sound like it. And there is another weird exclusivity thing here that points to PlayStation is definitely taking part in these types of things here. And that is with Sonic Shadow Generations. And this is super weird. They have an exclusivity deal literally for a cutscene, for a trailer, a opening anime trailer for the game. It says Sega has confirmed on its official game page for Sonic Shadow Generations that the Dark Beginnings prologue animation will be exclusive to the PS4 and the PS5 editions of the game. So this is literally for an opening prologue animation, not even any actual parts of the game, but it's still PlayStation paying for this. And maybe they're hoping more so that this is going to help them sell more copies on PlayStation than the Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure they're that worried about Xbox with this, because I mean, this is going to be huge in Japan and stuff. And they're probably thinking to get more people to go out there and buy it on PlayStation versus Nintendo. But again, I don't know how many people are going to be persuaded just because of that. But it's just these little things that PlayStation is still doing just for exclusivity deals. And it makes you start to think, how many more are coming down the line? Are they slowly getting away from it? Maybe these are just like the tail end of them as they do start to release their games more on the multi-platform side of things. We don't know. But if you are Xbox, you have to be looking at this. You have to be thinking to yourself, if they're going to continue to do this type of stuff, especially for a game like Black Myth Wukong, which a lot of people are excited for, are you going to continue to allow that to happen, or are you going to go out there and compete and do these things as well? And all of this at the end of the day is not something I like, whether it's Xbox who does it or PlayStation does it. This is bad for the consumer and bad for the gamer. That is the bottom line when it comes to these exclusivity things. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.